Peace, black family. I am here with my brother Conscious, all the way in Brooklyn, New York. This interview has been a long awaited one. We did several, Instagram conversations and things like that. But this is the first time we're actually in person. Actually, first time meeting each other in person as well. So this is going to be a good build.
Yeah,
we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. Yeah, hopefully. It's definitely going to be a good build. And I appreciate the brother taking time out to speak with me because the brother is very knowledgeable about the information. And it's always good to build with another brother. So just go ahead and give him a little bit of backdrop about yourself, brother, so they get familiar with who you are and what you are.
Brother Leo, Brother Conscious, you know what I'm saying, from the islands and what's not. And it's talking about building in the knowledge yourself, a large array. Definitely appreciate Hassan coming here from Florida and coming here dropping his jewel, doing his thing, and just spreading love and just reaching out to the other conscious brother. And that's what we need. We definitely need that. Just to support each other and show each other love. We all on internet, online, on Facebook, on IG, doing our thing. I guess some people looking for the glitz, the glamour, whatever else that come with it. But I do appreciate you coming here in the city. You coming here in the city of New York. You showing love and appreciation. He was here last year too with Sinetta TV. But I definitely appreciate he came down to the underdogs and spreading love with us and. You know what I'm saying? Doing his YouTube pages and his YouTube channels for the family to show support and to spread consciousness. It's a lot of love. Me and Hassan, I've been knew him now for mad long. Building on Instagram, but I definitely appreciate him coming through. Again, Brother Leo, Brother Conscious, nothing here but the people, the melanated people of Africa. Yeah.
Facts. I appreciate that. And a lot of people because I do this. I try to do this as often as I can to get out to certain states and to build with people, make a rapport with people. Because I think one of the things that we're missing is, and I'm not downing anybody who stays on the internet. But at some point, we got to get out there and build bonds and rapport with one another. If we're really talking about Pan-Africanism, like you have to get out there, not just see me on Instagram, but see my face and let's go out to eat and let's talk. And what business ventures do you have? And that's what it's necessarily about. So sometimes you might see me in Baltimore. You might see me in Philly. You might see me on Saturday in New York, building with brothers and everything like that. And obviously, you can't always connect with everybody because you only got 24 hours in a day. Right, so that's always the case when it comes to Pan-Africanism. But build with who you can and organize with who you can. And that's why I appreciate the brother for taking the time out. So first and foremost, what we're going to talk about is something that necessarily took place with myself and a few other people today. I went to go see an ancestor, Dr. Amos Wilson, if anybody is familiar with him. And there was actually no headstone for Dr. Amos Wilson at his grave. Now that's very disappointing because a lot of men and women have sacrificed their lives to bring this information to our communities, to build us up, socially, mentally, psychologically, to help us become better Africans within ourselves. And it was very disheartening to see Dr. Amos Wilson just have a number for his tombstone, a number, not even a name. This is Dr. Amos Wilson we're talking about, And I just want to ask you quick, brother, how were you first introduced to Dr. Amos Wilson?
I probably go to Khalid Muhammad. When he said he spoke on Dr. Amos Wilson. Khalid Muhammad, and then afterwards, just seeking mostly Khalid Muhammad, threw him out there. He threw him out there, definitely a knowledgeable brother. Never read his book. I know. I never read his book, but I listened to a lot of his videos, a lot of his lecture. Definitely a wise brother. Again, I never read his book. I know you said it's a lot of his book. I won't sit here in front like, I read X, Y, Z. But it's something definitely.
There's nothing wrong with not reading his book because we all learn differently, right? There's some people who learn visually. There's some people who learn through hand. There's some people who learn from listening. So I'm not saying that we all have to sit around and read books all day. It's always good to read a book, but if you're someone who can learn from listening, then go ahead and do so. You know what I'm saying? Now you started off listening to Khalid Muhammad, and then you heard him mention Amos Wilson. Okay, Man, you know what? Khalid Muhammad was a real powerful dude. And I'm be honest with you about something. When I first heard Khalid Muhammad, I'm being real with you about this. I was like, why is he so aggressive? Now I'm being real. I was like, why? But that showed at that time and point, my spirit wasn't ready for the way his spirit was. And have you noticed that in our community a lot? That a lot of people, you know, when they come to the level of conscious and they see somebody like myself or like you or like Brother Flo giving the information unapologetically, they think that we are aggressive and that we're the problem. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, what it is with white supremacy, and this I guess like being a freedom fighter and how you deliver. That's like Malcolm. We go back to the '60s. Marcus was another feisty. Even Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass kind of passive, but he was very very boisterous at the same time. But when you sit here and you speaking on I guess the conditioning, the preconditioning that of our people, when you out here giving out that information, that knowledge. You got to be kind of thorough and strict with the people because, again, they want to hear like Khalid Muhammad said, we have a flip-floppy, wishy-washy people. We want to sit down different stroke for different folks. You can't talk to me like this, you know what I'm saying? Right. So you got to go there and you got to be aggressive. You got to be aggressive with the word. I can't come to you and try to sell you something. Well, can you want to buy this book for me, please? Look at me like, yeah, all right. I'll give you $5. The book is $20. You got to be out there. You got to put it out. Right. Be a good salesman. I'm not saying you're selling anything. You're trying to bring people out to the consciousness. But yeah, same thing with me. You made a good point. When I heard Khalid Muhammad, it's like, yo, why is he so angry though? Like, why is he? Oh, fuck this. He's cracking this. He's cracking it. Like, yo, why? Yeah. But then you understand as you sit down and you dig deep. You understand like why he did this, why he was so passionate about it. So I definitely feel like, see, with Malcolm was a gangster. He was a gangster as well, and he'd be there for the people. You got to sit down and say it. So I definitely understand that. I forget what I said. I lost my train of thoughts. But I went with Hassan. I got my book, Powernomics. I had to bring that one. I was talking about blocking because he's speaking on how a lot of these black scholars they come here, they waste their time. Like Dr. John Henry Clark, he said he could have been a rich man if he wanted to. Right. You understand? He said he's smarter than a lot of these rich people. So if he wanted to be rich, he could have go there and do so. Yep. But he sits here, he spend his time to liberate his people. And with that being said, a lot of our ancestors, they sit out here, they put out the work. They take time, they write their books. We don't patronize them, we don't support them. Like in New York, she was talking, Fish Black was talking about downtown Brooklyn, like a lot of bootleg spots. My bad, yeah. A lot of bootleg spots where they sell these books, like probably this book out of Powernomics, same book. Like this right here cost me $28. Cost me $28. You go downtown Brooklyn, you get it for 10. Like bootleg spot, they're black owned, but it ain't going back to the publishers. You know what I'm saying, to the people. So you could definitely get it there. But we have to support our people. Like I was talking with Hassan a minute ago with Dr. Ben, and he died, and David West paid for his funeral, and how he was just talking. Who was it again? Dr. Amos, you said? No, not Amos. Who was in the nursing home?
Dr. Francis. Oh no, Dr. Ben. That was
Dr.
Ben.
Dr. Ben was in the nursing home, and how like we supposed to be here as a people united, and they sit here and they took their time out 40 years. I think Dr. Amos died 54.
Yeah.
54, and put like 20 plus years into black scholarly. You know what I'm saying? Being a scholar, and then for what? To be put in a nursing home, and you know what I'm saying? So like it don't make sense sometimes with that. But yeah, go ahead and sign before I talk to Mike.
Nah, you good, brother. You good, brother. That's what the build is about. The build is about. See, I think a lot of times too, as black men, we're scared to be vocal about certain things, or we're scared to be perceived about certain things. Only when we're angry we truly express our feelings. So for me, I never feel like, you know, a brother or a sister is talking too much. Yeah. There's no such thing as talking too much, because the problem is, or the solution is, questions and answers. Yeah. Nelly Fuller says that. He says, if you want to understand a problem, just keep asking a whole bunch of questions, and you'll understand the problem. Okay, why is this that? Okay, why is that? Okay, so why did that happen? And then we will always understand the problem. So I'm always big on dialogue. I'm always big on conversation. But that book you have right there, brother, if you want to show the camera, is a powerful book by Claude Anderson. A very powerful book. And I think this probably is the most underrated economics book out there amongst black people. I've seen more black people get the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad by that Asian dude, because it's not by a black person. It's by an Asian dude. It's called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Black people are running by that book instead of buying this book right there. You get what I'm saying? Powernomics. The national plan to empower Black America. Black America. You get what I'm saying? And then it spreads out globally. So we have to start supporting and patronizing our own people getting these own books. You know what I'm saying? That's something that we have to do, because patronizing your own people also falls directly in line with black love. When you love your own people, you support them, you give them your finances, you build with them, you go to their states, you conversate with them, you do these things. Like, I think a lot of people misconstrue this whole conscious thing and think that there's a level of fame that comes with this. There's no fame that comes with this. I can tell you that the most hated person in the black community would probably be a pedophile, right? Or a black conscious person. And the pedophile would still probably get more respect than a black conscious person. Because I guarantee you that there's a lot of black pedophiles in your own family that went to church and now they saved and y'all still letting him around y'all family. That's a fact. Let's just be real about that. But the black conscious person who talking black empowerment, there's something wrong with him. He's in a cult. He has to be demonized. Something is wrong with him. But the pedophile or the homosexual, we can deal with that in our community, but not the black conscious person. So when people say, oh, you just trying to get likes, you trying to get fame. What fame, what likes, what money? What money? There ain't no fame and no likes in this, brother. At all. So what do you got? What you got on your mind today, brother?
Nah.
Deal with me right quick.
Also, in regards to this book, Dr. Claude Anderson, I had a little book club, but it's kind of deter, like from the time frame. Supposed to do this, but definitely.
Where's the book club at? Who's involved?
On IG when they sit in a the book club, the IG book club, we supposed to do conference, but you went offline and several other people kind of unfriended me, so yeah, that was like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Unfriended you.
Yeah, because you know what it is. Sometimes they bug dancing for massa. I'm telling the wrong. I have a few followers on my, not followers but supporters on my gram. They go against what I'm saying because I'm kind of, I don't attack the woman. I don't attack the men. You gotta be blunt though. You gotta be blunt sometimes because some people they want to be they want to come over a certain way.
Ride the fence.
Yeah, like, oh, why? Like, I was talking to a queen and I was dealing with a queen on another king, and she was telling me, oh, why black nationalism? Why exclusion? Why can't we include everybody? I'm like, we've been including people for centuries.
Well, how's that black nationalism?
No, she said she don't believe in nationalism. She don't believe in nationalism because nationalism means the exclusion of somebody else, another race. So I'm like, why do we have to include somebody to be prosperous, to be prominent, to be thriving? But she got her and the king or the coon. They all got on board with that. I don't really I support everything we spit about is about the empowerment of our people. You including everybody else, it ain't empowering our people not one bit. Unless I'm selling to you or everybody else, then it ain't nothing I want to hear. But in regards back again to the book, Powernomics and Black nationalism, Pan-Africanism and Black nationalism, is us developing a form of wealth. Because Dr. Claude Anderson, he had a lot of PowerPoints in terms of we patronize everybody. Everybody don't patronize. We patronize we go to Louis Vuitton, Fendi, Gucci, Prada, BMW, Mercedes, everyone. But nobody comes to home with us. And we have to learn when we develop a sense of I guess self-love and know that we have to create businesses because we're the number one consumers. We buy from everybody. And you just saw the other day with the Asian lady who whooped the black girl ass, and believe me, you have people still going to the store. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so still got Block 8 shut it down, but after they reopen it, there are going to be people who are going right back to the store. That's what we do.
This is in Brooklyn.
Yeah, that's what we do.
What part of Brooklyn?
I'm not sure. They kind of disclose it. They didn't disclose it, the information. But that's what we do. People can do whatever the fuck they want to do with us, and we're forgiven. We forgive everybody. I was talking to Queen today, she's telling me, I'm sorry for jumping all over the place, but you know what I'm saying? When you get that spirit, you gotta, yeah. But yeah, she was telling me she was dating black men and so forth. Every black man she ever encountered with, did her wrong, so the next relationship she gonna be in got to be with a white man. But I'm like, yo, so you're gonna pardon these cave animals for 400 and plus years? Well, that's a long time ago, and so forth, so forth. I said, listen to me. Before I say what I said, for what I'm about to say, let me tell you this: you're gonna make up all excuses in the world to justify these crackers, right? And I started. I said, yo, so you're gonna forgive them for 400 and something years? You know what she told me? She told me, well, that was a long time ago, and it's a new generation. All right, cool, bet, say no more. So if they didn't abolish slavery back in 1863. We still going to be slave. Well, that's a different time, and it's going to be different and more humane. I say slavery lasted for 400 plus years, because we're going to talk about when the Arabs came to Africa and colonized us and so I sold us to these crackers, right? But I say you would sit down, you forgive and you forgive these people for these for enslaving us and treating us harshly. And she said that was years ago. Listen to me, we still getting hung and lynched and freaking in 1960s, in 1970s. When was what's his Don King? Not Don King. Is Don King? The riot in California.
Angeles?
Yeah.
Rodney King.
Rodney King. There we go. Rodney King. That was in the 80s, right?
That was the 90s.
Yeah, exactly.
92.
And nothing came out from the police officers. So don't sit here and tell me it was years ago. You know what I'm saying? Because these shit keep on happening. The police sit down and police brutality, but you rather try to conspire and conjure up some bullshit ass excuse to justify what these animals are doing towards us, rather than sit here and fight for your people. I speak on black nationalism. Nationalism is all about black love, black everything, black solidarity, black wealth, black everything, black community on a global scale. Go ahead.
Here's and I commend you for being so patient with that sister.
Yeah.
Because I would have told her simply like this. So black man not shit, right? You believe that black man not shit. Mm-hmm. So again, you find every answer by asking questions. Mm-hmm. So I would ask her, why aren't black men shit? Mm-hmm. Because of the white man. Mm-hmm. The white man who miseducates them. The black man who keeps them unemployed, the white man who drops guns in their community, the white man who drops drugs in their community. So you saying black men not shit, but you don't understand why black men aren't so-called shit. You get what I'm saying? You're not understanding why black men can't get a job, why black men are being miseducated in the school systems. So we're making these quick assessments of our communities and not understanding the whole totality of why the community is in the condition that it's in now. You get what I'm saying? So when I hear black women say, oh, black men ain't shit, or I hear black men say black women ain't shit, I think in my head, so you think we've always been this way?
Yeah.
You think when you have that young child at 3 years old, that child is already thinking about, I'm going to go out here and sell drugs to my people. Mm-hmm. There's something that innately is taking place in the system of racism that orchestrates us to be and act in a certain dynamic. Yeah. That's fact. 100%. For people to believe, or for us to believe that black men ain't shit or black women ain't shit, is to say that somehow we're genetically inferior or something is genetically wrong with us. That's what that means. Because you're taking a whole group of people and saying, oh, we just ain't shit, or we just saying black men know how to act. Well, why don't black men know how to act? And then it all ties back to the system of racism and white supremacy, because again, it functions in 9 areas of human activity, which is economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war, and healthcare. All of those things are controlled and dominated by the system of racism, white supremacy. And so since they control all of those areas, especially in entertainment, education, they control what we think, what we see, and how we feel about certain things. That's a fact. You know, I was building with a sister the other day, and we were talking about love. And I was saying how love is a social construct. Love is based on the culture that it exists within. So if we go to Africa and we see some of those beautiful women with those lip plates, right? We don't find that attractive. We don't. We wouldn't date women like that. You get what I'm saying? But in their culture, those are the most beautiful women. Here in America, we like the girls with the fat butts, and you know what I'm saying? Yeah, with the hips and everything like that, because that's what we're culturally been taught. Also, we've been culturally taught that lighter is better. So now we want to date light-skinned girls, mulattoes, or even white women or Hispanic women. You know what I'm saying? So love and what you find love and what you're attracted to is culturally taught to you. That's a fact. Depending on how affected you are by the system of racism and white supremacy. And in not understanding that, a lot of our people are being turned away thinking that, oh, well, that's just how we are. And that's not true. That's not true at all. In order to understand a problem, you have to understand who benefits from you having that problem in the first place. Because we look at the crackhead and say, you a crackhead. But we don't understand that it's a drug dealer that need him to be a crackhead. That's a fact. That's how that drug dealer makes that money. So when we look at black people and say, you Section 8, you food stamp, you don't have a job, you got to understand it's a white person that needs you to be on Section 8. It's a white person that needs you to not have a job. It's a white person that needs you to be miseducated. It's a white person that needs you to be a criminal. It's a white person. Every problem we have, it is a result of racism and white supremacy, because they need us to be in that zone so they can benefit from it. And that's just a fact, my brother. That's just a fact. But you got a lot of patience because I would have had to lay the line on her ass and give it to her, brother.
Nah, some people, they work differently. Like Malcolm said, certain people have a different level of consciousness. You have to break it down like slowly but surely with them. Um, Everybody ain't on that same level because I once was there. I remember at the same time I also had a jungle fever fetish before I gained knowledge of self. You understand? I came from the islands. That was taught. That was indoctrinated in me in terms of white is better. You're gonna say white is better.
Talk on that, please. Because you know what? You know what? A lot of people don't know how affected the Caribbean is with colorism, right? And that whole white fetish thing and things like that. Because there's movements in the Caribbean where Russian women, German women, they all come down there. There's a good movie if you want to watch the movie called Heading South. It's actually about Haiti. And it's a true story too, by the way, where German women come to Haiti to have sex with the native men, the native Haitian men. It's called Heading South. Right, good movie. I don't know. You can probably find it on YouTube. But a lot of people really don't understand how colorism in the Caribbean and how that white thing, because they think that because you're from the Bahamas. For those who don't know, my brother's from the Bahamas. They think that because it's an African country of black people that you guys don't experience racism either. Right? And you guys experience a level of neo-colonialism because you guys don't really control the educational system, right? The British control the educational system. So a lot of times when we come here, from Bahamas, Jamaica, Haiti, other people can't understand how we're, have that same self-hatred. So break that down, brother.
Yeah, but in terms of the education, I know me and Hassan, we spoke on this a while ago, but to those who wasn't listening, like in the Bahamas, we were taught like we're natives of the land. Like Christopher Columbus never came. He just came there and not colonized us, improved us. What's the word I'm looking for? Civilized us. That we was always natives of that line. Never told out. A lot of us, majority of us, came there through slavery, and also with the mixing and mingling of the natives. We did.
Oh wow! So they don't teach slavery in the Bahamas?
No, they don't. They do.
Oh, wow.
They teach you that Christopher Columbus came here, and we was the Arawaks. We're the Arawaks, and so forth and so forth. But what I was telling him is, Hassan, is we are taught everything. All our matter of fact, we have still have a statue of the Queen right in the downtown region. Our dollar bills, all is the Queen. We have two black prime minister that we don't have no president. We have prime minister and governor. In the Bahamas that are black, and everybody else is out of the Queen. In the Bahamas, so therefore it's taught. And also, like you work in the Bahamas, is two main form of income. One is tourism, and second is the government. But mostly it's tourism. Tourism outnumber the government. In terms of our income, we solely based off our tourism. Meaning, if we don't get no gas, there's no thought of agriculture. Like we don't grow nothing. Everything is imported. Everything is imported from either the U.S., China, or wherever. Everything's imported. So we're taught that. And also working in the hotel industry, you're taught to love white people. Not really like blatantly taught it, but subliminally you're being instilled to you to love white people. Most of the managers, general managers, directors are white. So therefore, it's a form of superiority versus inferiority complex. Just as well as in the Bahamas, that you have a lot of slave masters that still resides in the Bahamas. And of course, they're slave masters, so they're living prominent and prosperous. They're the island in the older islands of the Bahamas and Eleuthera. And Eleuthera, that's the island of the Bahamas, where you had the rich side of Eleuthera, where mostly predominantly white people, and they still reside today. They mix and mingle with their own people, like the Jews, there in the Bahamas. So we're taught, let's say, a sense of love. Rather than, again, the Bahamas, it's not light skin. It's like the terms you use here, light skin, dark skin. They're called mango skin, and we're
mango skin.
Yeah, mango skin, like the mangoes, like mango skin, like the nice orangish, yellowish flavor.
Right.
And we're taught to love that if you're not mango skin, light skin, of course, you're not beautiful. And the darker you are, the uglier you are. And the whole skin bleaching, skin self-hate shit. So we're basically taught to love white or something bright. If it ain't bright, it ain't right. You dig what I'm saying? But yeah, I was taught to love white. So when I came here to the United States, I had that jungle fever fetish, and I wanted a snow bunny. And of course, I dipped and dabbled. You know what I'm saying? I think about it now. That was before I gained knowledge of self. To those who trying to condemn me, I gained that knowledge of self. So I had that that passion too as well. But as soon as I learned what I learned from the ancestors before, never again. And if you do ever see me on the street doing something, that call me out, record me, and put me on online. Call me a fraud. But yeah, that's just taught us that whole and because I had my sister. I'm sorry, I'm going to jump again. I had my sister. My sister last year. She came. She's in the Bahamas. She came to Georgia to visit my son. Again, the same thing as white Jesus, white God, all the same thing in the Bahamas as well. And she's telling me about this and this and this and whatever else the case may be. And I'm like, yo, I don't believe in white God. I'm an Israelite. I follow the teaching of the Israelites. My own teaching, personal teaching, of course. But tell me that of white God and white Jesus and so forth. That's like, I don't believe in white God. I don't believe in white Jesus. Remember the same people try to rationalize their bullshit. She was telling me, because I had my Malcolm X shirt on, and I was telling her like, yo, the white man is the devil and so forth. And she was telling me, oh, all the white people ain't bad. A lot of black people are bad. She said, matter of fact, you talk about slavery. Let me talk to you about slavery. Black people sold blacks to the whites. So you want to speak about that, speak on that topic. Now, basically, making a long story short, she stopped talking to me because I tell her white people are the devil. You, a bunch of self-haters. My sister's kind of light-skinned. She's light-skinned. So I say that don't sound like a form of self-hatred. That you trying to tell me she want a white man to treat her better. That whole complex we build in our head. That white people will treat you better and they're better for us and they'll treat us better than our own kind. But go ahead, touch it. I know you want to touch on it.
I want to backtrack a little bit. Just a few conversations ago. So I was about to say Jamaica. In the Bahamas, they don't teach about the slave trade. This is highly confusing because the culture in the Bahamas comes from Africa. You know, you guys have the carnival. What do you call it? The
Junkanoo.
The Junkanoo, right? Okay, you guys have the whole costumes that come from Africa. The same thing they do in Guinea-Bissau. The same thing they do in Nigeria with the carnival. They do in the Bahamas, right? With the drums, with the dum 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 dum, right? You know, they also have what is called the gentleman walking on stilts, Moko Jumbi, right? You guys do that as well. Moko Jumbi, for those who don't know, is basically a representation of the ancestor. That's why the guys are always walking on the stilts and they're looking down at you because it's supposed to be a reflection of the ancestors. That's African spirituality that we're practicing, right? And this is all through the Caribbean. All through the Caribbean, all through West Africa, all through South America. These are all things that we practice in the carnival. So why would they teach that you guys are native to the Bahamas? Right? That's some form of doctrination or some form of African self-hatred. I could just say from my perspective, right? Because the culture itself, right, comes from Africa, the foods and et cetera, et cetera. I want you to touch on Box Day. For those who don't know about Box Day, right? Boxing Day, right? Explain what Boxing Day is.
Well, Boxing Day, that's a Canadian, because I think they celebrated it in Canada. It's the day after Christmas. The day after Christmas, that's the whole festival when we have a carnival. But it's just a holiday, day after Christmas celebration. That's when the costume come out and all the festivals. It's a holiday. It's a holiday in Canada. I saw it in the Canadian calendar.
And you guys celebrate in the Bahamas.
We celebrate in the Bahamas as well.
So are you familiar that Boxing Day actually started through slavery? Because what it was is this whatever toys and gifts that the slave master didn't want, they would wrap it back up and give it to the slave. And that's why it became like Boxing Day, right? So there's like, I don't want this, give it to the slave, right? So that's something that's kind of been passed on. And then obviously through migration, it made its way to Canada, et cetera, et cetera. But that was one of the things that took place. Now, I want to shoot over to what you were saying about the self-hatred issue that we have in the Caribbean. That's something that we've been dealing with for quite some time. And I think people overlook that a lot of times, man. Like, bleaching is becoming $1 billion, close to $1 trillion industry within our community. And a lot of people feel like, well, I'm just catching color or, I'm just lighting up. It is and this is how self-hating we have become because we're willing to get cancer. Right? We're willing to lose scalp follicles. We're willing to do all these horrible things to our body to fit ourselves in a Eurocentric perspective. We're willing to do these things. Think how self-hating that is. That we're willing to do all of these things to try to fit ourselves. And then people say, well, I don't want to be white. then what are you doing it for then? What are you doing it for if you don't want to be white? You don't want to be African because Africans ain't, well, I'm saying we have continental Africans that's bleaching, but I'm saying Africans ain't bleaching. That's not something that we're going to be doing. We love our skin. We love our melanin.
No, in Africa, bleaching has definitely, the numbers has rise. It's rise a lot in Africa.
Well, just because you live in Africa don't mean you African.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I've been saying lately. I had a brother tell me one time, he said, "You're not African." I said, "Why am I not African?" He said, "Because you're not African. You wasn't born in Africa." I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, what's your religion?" He said, "Christianity." I said, "What language do you primarily speak?" He said, "French." I said, "Then you not African." The hell you telling me? You not African. You right here speaking French. You right here worshiping white Jesus, and you gonna tell me I'm not African? I'm practicing Ifa. My room is filled with African gods. You get what I'm saying? I pray to my ancestors. I'm making Jolo ripe. I'm making all type of words. You telling me I'm not African? I even speak in the African language. What are you talking about? You know, so just because you live in Africa don't mean you African. We really got to understand that. Yeah, don't mean you African at all. A lot of us, man. You know, Africa's in the heart, man. How? Let me ask you a question. How? And we're gonna touch on the Hebrew Israelite thing in a second. But how were you introduced to Pan Africanism, or the concept of Pan Africanism? How did it come to your attention?
Well, to make a long story short, let me just give me a minute, gather my thoughts. Pan Africanism. I had a 5%er brother. In New York, I was working with, because the N-word came out of my mouth like nothing frequently. It's gone now, it's gone. But he sat me down. That's how the conversation started. I'm about to make a long story short again. He's just like, "Yo, brother, every word you say is the N-word. Come on, let's sit here and listen to yourself, whatever." But as he sit there, he told me that. I was like, "Man, fuck out of here, OG." Old time, he's like 50-something. "Man, fuck out of here, do you?" But he hit it home. And then like he's planning to see it. I just sit there and he continued to talk to me. He's like, "Yo, you know Malcolm X is?" Of course I know Malcolm X is. Do you know what he stood for? Yeah, he was a racist or whatever the case may be. But then he sit down and he actually spoke to me. Little this, Marcus Garvey, Pan-Africanism, W.E.B. Du Bois, with the Pan-Africanism spread. And he shared it with me. One second, there's another brother he dropped me on. I think not Elijah Muhammad, and now they're trying to bring that whole scale, but that's how I got dropped or introduced the Pan, and then later on Kwame Nkrumah. Yeah, so that's how I got introduced to Pan-Africanism, and of course later on one of my heroes and idols, Khalid Muhammad. But the Khalid Muhammad just came like a fire general, you know what I'm saying, and just dropped it in the table. What was the question? Why you asked?
No, I was wondering because a lot of people are necessarily not familiar with Pan-Africanism, the ideas of Pan-Africanism, and they don't understand the familiarities with Pan-Africanism. So a lot of people may say I'm pro-black. See, there's different levels to this. There's Pan-Africanists, there's black nationalists who care about just black people in America because they're black nationalists. They don't care about Africans throughout the diaspora. You know, you have Pan-Africanists who care about us globally. Right? And then you have some people who mistake Pan-Africanism with necessarily all black people throughout the world or all brown people throughout the world. Like, for example, you have people that say, "Well, what about the Dravidians in India? Aren't they African?" Yeah, they are, but they're not victims of the slave trade. See, Pan-Africanism was created for the victims of the slave trade, meaning those who are in the Caribbean, North and South America, potentially Canada, and it spread back to the continent. See, Pan-Africanism started in the Caribbean and in America, and then went back to the continent with Kwame Nkrumah, with Patrice Lumumba, with the gentleman from Guinea-Bissau. I can't think of his name right now. So we have to understand that concept. A lot of people get confused with that. So that's why I was asking, how were you introduced to Pan-Africanism and the concept of Pan-Africanism? Now, we're going to get a little heated, family. So you mentioned earlier that you have Hebrew Israelite ideas, and that's interesting because you rock the red, black, and green, right? You rock it hard. I see you jewed out with it. You know what I'm saying? So how does that work for you? How do you rep or have the ideas of the Hebrew Israelite and still rock your red, black, and green?
I can't remember who said it. I think Dr. John Henry Clark. He said, "Whatever you do best, do it for your people." And Dr. Khalid Muhammad, one of his interview, he also acknowledged him being a Semite, and him because you notice, I don't know, most of his videos he cracked on the so-called Jewish people, and he acknowledges our Hebrew teaching. How I can I rock it is like no separation, because again, a lot of brothers them they sit here and they speak on what they was taught, like what we do. Why we Christians? They was taught they were Christian. Right. Sometimes you got to sit here and think for yourself. Like a lot of the principles and concept. I like the teaching of the brothers, the unity, the bond. I am biased. I don't want to touch on no topic with the sisters, but how the sisters perceive themselves and how they carry themselves in the Hebrew teaching, like the teaching of what's the word I'm looking for? I know I'm talking to myself. A virtuous woman, and having my child. Not saying to be submissive or anything, but a virtuous woman. Because now America is teaching us to hate ourselves with everything, but they're teaching like a form of household. Not saying that the man is to overpower the woman or have her in check, or she got to be submissive or you got to be dominant towards you, but a form of guidance and principles, morals and ethics they'll live by. So I definitely I fell in love with that in the unity. But then a lot of the brothers are lost. You know what I'm saying? That the white man gave you this and told you this, and maybe might have been an agent who sit there and tell you you are the chosen people and so forth. But Dr. John Henry Clark said the same shit like with the Hebrews. He's like, yo, a lot of y'all sound like a bunch of jackass Christians that don't think for themselves. So I kind of have to step back, like from the teaching, because you sound like a bunch of Sunday worshipers. But I definitely love the principles and the codes behind it, other than the hating of our brothers and sisters in Africa. Because again, a white man probably told a black man to say that you was this, and those people in Africa is cursed. So I want you to go ahead and believe that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really follow that teaching. But the brothers are militant. The brothers that curse a crack out in a minute. They for the people. But again, their teaching is kind of backward on certain aspects. I fucks with the brothers hard. Like they go hard, brother. They go harder than the NOI. They go harder than the FOI. Like their brothers, they go in. But again, I think their teaching is backward. That's why I kind of fell off from the school. I fell off from the school because again, it sounded like a bunch of backward teaching. But I got into that because I was looking for myself. And I found comfort, and I found a form of truth. And even though they said the Bible go 6,000 years ago, but predates to 6,000 years ago, and is written in hieroglyphics in the pyramids and so forth. And I know Hassan will chew me up with that, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, let's bring it. Well, to pull out Matthew 5 verse 15.
So I think one of the common misconceptions in our community is that the red, black, and green flag represents something different from what it's supposed to represent. These colors are race first colors. Yes. Right? That means that although you may be, and I know I'm going to take a lot of flack for this, people going to eat me the fuck up for saying this, but that these colors are race first colors, not religion first colors, race first colors that identify with the African continent. These are our colors. Okay? And the reason why I say they're race first colors, and the reason why Marcus Garvey said they're race first colors, is because everybody in the UNIA was not practicing an African spirituality. Some of them were Christian. Some of them were Hebrew Israelites. Matter of fact, one of the first members who brought the Israelite teaching to America was a Garveyite. What was his name? I don't recall his name, but he started the first Hebrew Israelite groups here in New York. Right? Elijah Muhammad, Garveyite. He studied under Garvey. So these colors are race first color, not religion first colors, not, ideology first colors, race first colors. And that's what Garvey taught, and that's what a lot of us taught. Now, when we're talking about race, we can, use being black and use being African interchangeable. When people say, well, I'm black, or I'm African, it's interchangeable. So I just asked that question just to, see your point of view on what it is. It's not to say, well, you can't rock these colors because you believe in the Hebrew doctrine. No, because a lot of people don't know. Again, these are race first colors. So Hebrew, like Malcolm on his shirt, he was a Muslim. But we always put red, black, and green with him, right? We constantly do that.
Nationalists, black nationalists.
Right. We constantly put red, black, and green because these are race first colors. So, brother, you got anything else you want to add before we wrap this up?
Yeah, in terms of my Hebrew teaching, my brothers, again, race first and foremost. But in regards to my teaching, I'm for my people, my black people to be exactly. And some of the lost are Hispanic, who's lost more. But then we got a lot of black people too who's more lost than the Latinos, or quote unquote. They are lost brothers.
When you say Latino, define Latino.
Latino meanings of African descendant. African descendant.
Okay.
Not no cracker, no half breed. You have African descendant. You know what I'm saying? Dark skin, like most of the Cubanos, the Cubans, and so forth. Dominicans, Brazilians, Dominican, Honduran, Costa Rican.
I'm gonna say this, brother. I'm gonna say this for a second.
ahead.
We have to start making them be comfortable with saying they're African and not Latino. Because that term can be interchangeable and that term can be destructive to us if possible. Why do you have to add the Afro Latino? Why not? We don't do it. We African. Point blank period. I think that's another way for them to distance themselves and say, well, I'm Afro Latino. I might have something no, you're African. Stop with the bullshit. So for me, that's why I asked you to define it. For me, it's like, you're not Afro Latino, you're African. Keep the Latino shit out. That's just your way of playing games.
You want to be special. Though.
Yeah, you want to be special. We're not doing special here. We all African. There's no African that's better than another African. So I just wanted to add that, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, but like I'm calling the blackest say like the blackest of the blackest say not in terms of black as being a form of degradation, but it's a form of enlightenment, love, hatred, love, because we have a bunch of hatred. Latino, prime example like Sammy Sosa. Sammy Sosa hated his dark skin and wanted to change that and blame all type of bullshit as justify his reason of doing so. But just like the brothers, them the African descendants that resides in South and Central America and also in the Caribbean. A lot of brothers are lost. We got to bring them home. Like I got a lot of this New York where you hear a lot of Hispanics. I gotta cut them. I cut them in half. Like I ripped them open a new asshole. No homo shit, but I ripped them a new asshole. Like I talk to brothers first, right? I'm Leo. I don't use the N-word. Nor would I have you use the N-word towards me or call me, address me as so. And a lot of Hispanic brothers, they sit down like, oh, why can't I use the N-word? I said, what are you again? Like, what are you? Oh, I'm Latino. Oh, I'm Puerto Rican, blah, 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 blah. So that means if you use the N-word, no. But if I call you a spick or something like that, you're going to catch hell. Like, oh, what the fuck you got me? Ah! So we nip that in the bud. Like, you Puerto Rican, right? You always had, I'm Irish and Italian and bullshit. But or sometimes they try to be in the funk. Like, oh, my mother's blacker than you. I say all the time, my mother's blacker than you. Or my father's blacker than you.
They call her a nigga.
Yeah. So yeah. So the end of my story. I know you say you want to close it up now. Like don't be afraid of your blackness, man. Like you are who you are. Like this didn't happen by accident, incidents, or coincidence. This is by not saying faith, because I know Hassan ain't a faithful brother. You don't believe in faith, you believe in facts. This happened. You understand, by the ancestors, by the universe, by our creators. That we are who we are. We're blessed, the first people here. But we just lost our sense of love, our sense of pride, our black pride, our nationalism, our Pan-Africanism, globalism. You know what I'm saying? Like we sit here and they relegate us here in America to be the second-class citizen or third-class citizen or the bottom of the barrel, and we start to believe it. I'm not trying to sit here and feed you with no hopes or no prayers or no dreams or anything like that. You got to get back to where we were. People, they have been oppressing us for centuries, not years, for centuries. And they continue to do so because they understand that, once we rise, ain't going to be no stopping us. And like Louis Farrakhan said, once you get empowered, their guilty conscience going to be like, we're going to do to them like what they did to us. Like we're the bad person, we're the victims. We're the victims, but yet again, we're the accusers of whatever happened. Like they've massacred us for hundreds of years. And then we're the aggressors. We're the criminals. We're the hardened criminals. We're guilty before proving that we're guilty type shit. You know what I'm saying? But we gotta do better. We gotta get better. We gotta get back on track. You gotta read more, watch videos, read more. Whatever the fuck you do to gain your form of knowledge and understanding. You gotta do more to get back on track. To understand that we're Africans from the content of Africa. Yeah, and just like be proudful of who you are. Like I have to tell you a day, you got to be proudful of who you are and say it to yourself and truly believe it when you say it. But I'm hooking up the mic with Brother Hassan. Definitely appreciate you for hosting my live on Hassan page, though. I definitely appreciate that, Brother Hassan.
Listen, I appreciate you having me, brother. If we had a lot more time, we got to wrap it up because we got some things we got to do behind the scenes. But I appreciate you coming out to build with me out here in Brooklyn. I've been receiving nothing but love out here in Brooklyn from the family. Down in Baltimore, the same thing. Philly, same thing, receiving mad love, man. And this is what truly Pan-Africanism is about. So until next time, family, think black, stay black, love black, support black, and that's real black power.
Black power.